Buttons were invented in 1896 in Newark, New Jersey, but Chicago actually had a lot of button manufacturers from, I think, around 1898 till like the 50s. It's like a little billboard, but it's attached to a person so that they're actually promoting your idea, whatever your band, your nonprofit, your company. My name is Kristen Carter. I run Busy Beaver Button Company. We're in Logan Square, Chicago's northwest side. I started it in 1995. I was in a band. I was actually living in London at the time. I met a guy who made like the little punk 1-inch buttons over there. I was like, no one's been making them over in the States as long as I remember. So I came back. I started in Bloomington, Indiana, where I was going to college. And then I moved it to San Francisco for a little over a year. And then I settled in Chicago in 1998. So it's been here for 13 years. We do a lot of bands, nonprofits and associations, and kind of small kind of businesses that have done things kind of DIY style. Like we do stuff for StoryCorps, the radio show, and our smallest order is 50 pieces, so we'll do it for someone's family reunion or class reunion. One of the things I kind of pride ourselves on is that we'll help the customer, because we do deal direct. It's not just like distributors coming to us like my customer needs 10,000 of these buttons. We're really big on making sure that the buttons express what the customer wants them to express. We ask, how you want to use them, what do you want them to accomplish, like visually. A lot of people do have their artwork already ready to go. They know what they want. A lot of people know kind of the concept of what they're going for. So we have an art department. Eric is our art department, and he basically designs buttons for people to help them kind of conceptually go for what their message is, and then Eric prints them, and then it goes into production from there. The button parts are made out of Gary steel. Like 5% of what comes out of Gary it goes into like food cans, like soup cans and that kind of stuff. So that's like the residue from the main steel production, and then what we get is the leftover from the soup cans. So it's already recycled before we get to it, and then we make them into buttons here. You can work on 3 buttons at once. You're loading a shell in the back at the same time, and then you're loading the artwork and the mylar, which is a clear protective covering, at the same time, but they're not all of the same button that you're doing. So you're putting the back of the button before and the shell of the button that's about to be made. And then it has this little magnetic arm that throws it into a bucket. We average like 10,000-ish a day. We can make up to 20,000 a day, and we have had weeks where we do 100,000 in a week. We have 5 full-time and then about 10 to 12 part-time people. A lot of the people who do production are part-time. We have a lot of musicians, a lot of visual artists, so that they kind of have this flexibility of like going on tour. It works out well for us and it works out well for them, so it's a total win-win. We started the Button-O-Matic in 2002. It was my coworker Rosie and I started together because we wanted to create these little art buttons sold through vending machines. Every year we come up with a new exhibit, and this year is going to be a superhero series. And artists include like Anders Nilsson, Lily Carré, Mark King, Jeffrey Brown. It's funny because people who don't even know Busy Beaver will know about the Button-O-Matic. In a real concentrated effort to learn like the history of buttons and what different types of purposes of buttons, I started doing the Button Museum. So we have like our little Chicago area, buttons that refer to themselves as buttons, kind of innovative, weird, interesting uses of buttons. Club buttons, like a souvenir for events, social lubricators, which are they aren't advertising anything, they're just making people talk to each other. Political, music, art, entertainment. And then we have a couple little just ones we wanted to show, and like I Heart buttons. There's a little Ask Me button section too. I've learned a lot about history just by collecting the buttons. I thought it would be something I would just kind of do for a little while on the side, but you know, the more I've been doing it, the more like buttons keep revealing things to me. You know, the expression of buttons, you know, like how people can wear a graphic image and they can change it out. It's like, it's not necessarily like a fancy piece of jewelry, but it's like, you know, expressive decoration.